My man.
Hey, dude.
Wow. Who would have thought we'd make it back here?
Who would have thought? I am very happy to be back.
So pumped. Dude, JJ and Don are both in the chat and they were like, we thought you guys were dead. No, I'm just kidding.
Mm-mm.
But already kind of started the chit chat and very excited to talk some football. What's going on, bro?
Not much, dude. We are here. I am.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what better for us to come back with a vengeance than to talk about our bread and butter and the people that we hate the most,
Hell
right?
yeah. Hell yeah.
So, a little AFC NFC East preview. We're going to be running down division by division throughout the weeks leading up to the season, at least once a week, and then trying to get another show in more fantasy based. That's kind of where my head's at, Sam. I don't know where your head is at.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, cool.
I mean, look, even for today, totally up to you. We can get into preview. I also think a little bit of recap of what's been going on. I mean, bro, it's been a minute since we last spoke. I mean, even just me and you. For those of you who don't know, JJ was in fucking Norway, like
I
as
was.
of last week. So there's been a lot of football that we just haven't caught up with yet. And boy, am I freaking excited, man. We were just talking about it. I don't know about you. I'll be glued to the Hall of Fame game on Thursday. Like, cannot wait to watch the Panthers threes roll out. I'm going to be screaming at my television.
Well, Kenny Pickett's getting the nod, so if you're a Pittsburgh fan,
Let's
tune in.
go. Hell yeah. Former Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett,
Former
mind you. Put some
For
respect on
for those fucking Eagles.
that guy's name,
Stupid
all right?
fucking Eagles. All right, dude. So where do you want to start? You want to start AFC, NFC?
Um, why not? Let's start with the AFC, man. I
Yeah,
feel
okay.
like
Do you want to
I
take
feel
it?
like the AFC somewhat.
Do you want to start with
What?
your boys first? Do you want to start with people you hate first?
Let's go with people I hate first because it's much more easy for me to talk about my team that I oh so dearly love, which I don't know why. It's an unhealthy relationship, to be honest with you. But
Unhealthy at
um,
all.
I only figured start with AFC East because I think we all know who's gonna run away with it. You know what I mean? So let's start with the Bills.
Well,
They're
not a
gonna be
total runaway. There's competition now.
where?
Okay, wait. So the Pats that just won the division can't win the division again.
All right. Nah, you're fair. That's fair. All right, that's a good point. But it's going to be harder now that they're not playing, SEC teams.
This
You know
is
what I mean? They're
true.
going to be
Schedule's a
playing
lot harder.
a real NFL schedule, not playing FBS
Schedule's a
schools.
lot
You know
harder.
what I mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm still going to start with the Bills. We're going to talk about how shitty those new uniforms are, bro. And you know what? To be
The
fair,
Nickel City ones. Yep.
it's not the jersey or the pants, to be honest with you. It's just the helmet. I think the jersey and pants actually could have been okay, but the helmet is god awful, man. It just makes the rest of the uniform look garbage.
I think I mean I thought the jerseys were ass. I thought the helmet was nice. So that's fun. That's funny. But this is
Mhm.
kind of like when the Giants came out with those Century Reds uh,
Oh,
a couple years ago,
oh,
and they grew on me. I'll be very honest with you. So
dude, those are disgusting.
I understand why people don't like them right now. The
Those are the
color,
worst.
I just don't get the color. I really do think the helmet is nice. I mean, I love the increased. I love the solid color look on these. I know there's a little black to it for people who don't know what we're talking about. Can you even see that? Oh my god, the hell!
No,
Just try blinding me, guys.
put it in front of your face.
No,
No,
no.
like really in front of your face, like actually in front of your face. Yeah,
There.
there you go.
Uh, uh,
Almost. Never
uh,
mind. Forget it.
we're not gonna get there. We're not gonna get there.
Yeah, it's
Um,
fine.
it's okay. So, anyways, I mean, other than the jerseys, what do you think, man? What should I think about the Bills going into this season?
I think anybody should think about the Bills going into the season is the fact that they still have arguably the best player in the league, Josh Allen.
Yes.
Anytime that guy is quarterbacking your team, you have a pretty dang good shot. Um, I think outside of the Patriots, obviously the division is pretty much a wash. So if they can take control of obviously the regular season opponents that they have and handle business against the Patriots themselves, I think it's a no-brainer that they win the AFC East this year. The big thing for me with the Bills is what Joe Brady is going to be like as the new head coach. It's always interesting to see transitions from people who have a lot of success in the coordinator role and then transition to head coach
Okay.
and kind of see like how they fit in. And it's almost like, I mean, give me your take on it, but it's almost like it always goes really good or really bad. Like there's like no middle ground ever in that first year, especially.
I'd agree. Joe Brady
Yeah.
is going to definitely be. I mean, he's been in the building though, so that's what makes it so interesting about this situation. It's almost like they hired the interim coach.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And usually when that happens, things don't go well.
Yeah.
Except, I feel like when the interim stays, usually most of the staff stays as well. I mean, I could be completely wrong about that. I can't tell you off the top of my head, but we do know that the Bills' frustrations probably lie with their defense the past couple of years, only
Right.
because Josh Allen has. I feel like Josh Allen has been pulling so much of the weight on offense that you just haven't noticed. They've probably been lacking something there.
Yeah. So
But
that was going to be my point is like okay, so you basically promote the OC to head coach now.
yeah,
How does that help the defense, like really at all? Which really was the issue last year for the Bills.
yes, but it's bringing in so. I mean, Sean McDermott, to nobody's surprise, was a defensive minded coach. As a head coach, you expect the defense to be pretty solid, if that's where he leans. So getting him out of there gives you ability to bring in a new life for the defense
Yeah.
by bringing in Jim Leonard, former Bill himself, as a player, and was just part of one of the best defenses in football, and specifically the secondary, which outside of Pat Surtain, not that they're like they're above average. They're not. You're not going to write home about any of those guys, um, but that the defense was very very good. So you expect him to do the same in a defense that probably has very comparable players, maybe a little worse, especially at the corner position. But if he can turn that defense, again, it's not like it was a bad defense. It's just very turnover based,
Yeah.
kind of a little lacking in the edge rush department. But coverage wise, if you can turn that even a bump up, then I think maybe you get that luck in the variance that the Bills have had in the playoffs instead of maybe getting the wrong swing of things. And I think it's just because the
Yeah.
games have been so close. But again, that's just kind of what happens in the playoffs. You're playing against the best people, and the games are going to be close. So it comes down to a bounce or two. But maybe if you can bump your defense up and keep your offense at the same level, then maybe now you're up 10 points instead of being up 6 points, or being up 2 scores instead of 1 score, or something like that.
Yeah. I also like the addition of DJ Moore, especially. I'm very intrigued to see how he fits in their new system as their one, essentially,
Yeah.
because they don't really have anybody else that is eye opening. I mean, they still have Keon Coleman, and they just drafted a wide receiver, correct? I forget what his name is, but
They
he's not supposed to be the top guy there as well. So DJ Moore, from what it
I think
seems like, at
they seem
least
to
on
keep the
everything
guy
I've
out of
seen,
UConn. I forget his name.
he's the guy. Yeah. Um, oh, Skylar Bell. Yes, that's what I
Yes,
was
Skylar
thinking.
Bell.
And
Which,
and they just got McCole Hardman too. I forgot
okay,
about
well,
that.
I'm pretty. Miko was there. I'm pretty sure. I think he was the guy that ended up in that should have been reception, was a turnover, kind of dependent on how it was
Oh,
called on the field against the Broncos in the playoffs. Keon, I mean, for me, what they did to Keon at the start of the offseason, Brandon Bean, like that was probably the worst display of decorum
of
in sports that we've seen in a while. I feel. I mean, that was terrible. You buried a guy, like absolutely buried a guy, gave up on him, and now because you bring in a new staff who wants to keep him around and you can't just get rid of him,
yeah,
then now you have to breathe life into him. So a little bit odd there, especially to do that to a player who was already seemed to be checked out, maybe wasn't doing all the right things off the field, and now you expect him to just buy in after you just buried him. That's a very interesting choice by the general manager. Um, DJ Moore, I think, still has juice. I just think the trade compensation is more than they should have given up for him. But I mean, again, if you win a Super Bowl with the guy, who gives a fuck, right? But I think he's still got
I
a lot of
also
juice.
I'm also skeptical. I think he has a lot of juice as well. I'm just skeptical that he's like a true focal point of an offense. Um, it seems like, and again, it's not all his fault because you don't want to look back to the Panthers days and whatnot. But even when he was with Chicago, and they didn't have Luther Burden, and they didn't have Colston Loveland, like I feel like he wasn't anybody to write home about. And now I feel like the Bills are expecting him to be that guy. And forgive me, but I'm a little skeptical of that. So um, it's going to be interesting to see. I think that they are a top dog in the AFC East, obviously in the AFC in general, and it's all because of 1-7.
I mean, absolutely.
Moving over
He's
to
pulling all the weight. I mean, don't get me wrong.
dude, all the way, and that's why like I think to his style of play, like there's certain times he has to be Superman, and that's why stupid plays happen sometimes. But man, when they hit, dude. He is so fun to
He's
watch. I'll
fantastic,
say it.
and I mean that's kind of the thing when you have that elite quarterback, you can get away with a lot of
Mhm.
things. Um, so I expect them to still be very good, and I think
Mhm.
that's not a shock to anybody for me to say that. I just
Right.
think DJ Moore, and not that they're all the same, but it's not like there's a big discrepancy in height and weight. But DJ Moore and Khalil Shakir and Skylar Bell almost these possession, maybe stretch the field a bit. But these possession, like maybe a one, probably a two type of receivers, and then you throw in Keon Coleman. I think the real juice is going to come from Dalton Kincaid, who everyone is saying is having a great camp.
Right.
And not that James Cook, can't have another good season. I just think it's hard for running backs to kind of continually stack that, since their position is so dependent on their situation around them. And not that they have a bad O-line, but they did lose some pieces in free agency, and kind of breaks away that continuity. And except for
Mhm.
Deion Dawkins, who's only getting older, it's not like they have all pros across the line in general. Which, I mean,
Right.
this is kind of one thing I wanted to do, which I think at some point we can kind of clip and make a fun little bit out of it. I wanted to go through each team's offensive line as we talk about them, and kind of be like that guy, don't like that guy, and see how many of the starting five we kind of give a check to, and see, okay, they have three. All right, that's fine. Maybe some things go wrong. Maybe some things go right. Four, feel pretty good about them. Five, hey, you're probably topping. You're probably topping the league.
You are so the person to do that because I'm going to know confidently 40% of offensive linemen in in the league.
Well,
I'll be impressed if I know 40% of skill
and
players,
that's okay. And that's
Yeah.
absolutely okay.
Anyways, moving on to the Patriots, the 14-3 conference divisional champion Patriots, who added AJ Brown this offseason and really seemed like they haven't missed a step in any sort of offseason transactions. They added a handful of pieces, and it seemed like they had a pretty good draft. They have a harder schedule this year. It was going to be very difficult to have anything easier compared to what they had last year. So I think going into the second year for Drake May. I think going into his second year with Mike Vrabel, even though they're still dealing with some off the field issue type stuff that Aaron Rodgers is not too thrilled that it's not being covered as much.
Yeah, I feel like that's all resolved and swept under the rug at this point. I mean,
Yeah, for the most part.
it's not really a
But I
story
wonder if
anymore.
I wonder if it still plays a factor, even if it's not a story. Like again, because that happened during the offseason.
Yeah.
I could only imagine that there's other teams that are going to be using this as rage bait, as fuel into the fire, if you get what I'm saying. So it'll be interesting to see if it pops up again. I would certainly like it because I thought it was very funny, even though, again, with all due respect, that's somebody's life. It's multiple people's lives. I get it.
Yeah.
But can't help but be a fan. You know what I mean? Their team is good. Their team is very good. I feel like, again, this is just full transparency. I'm not trying to be biased because I hate the Patriots. But again, I'm just skeptical because of how easy their schedule was. I mean, it's just not like you're not playing the same teams anymore. You played Vegas. Obviously, you're going to play Miami, Carolina, New Orleans Saints, Tennessee Titans, Cleveland Browns, Atlanta Falcons. Like it was just kind of a joke. Cincinnati when they barely had Joe Burrow. It wasn't a real NFL schedule. And again, kudos to them for actually still winning. I'm not saying it's easy to get wins in the NFL by any means, but this year is much different. Week one, they're playing. It's a Super Bowl rematch against Seattle. They have to see Jacksonville.
Which
They have
I'm
to see
super
Chicago.
excited about that first
Right.
game. That's the first game of the season is a Super Bowl rematch.
Yeah, dude.
Are you serious? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Tickets as low as $286, bro. You want to go?
The flights might be 3 times the ticket price.
Yeah. Or we can go to honestly, this is kind of great. We can go to Miami for $99. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm probably more in on Miami than I
That's what I'm
am in
saying, dude.
Seattle.
Imagine. But yeah, now they have to play the NFC North too, so they're going to see Chicago, Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota. Minnesota's like whatever, but you get the point. Like they're going to see Kansas City this year. It's much harder. It's much more difficult. So I'm very curious to see what their talent is like. Thanks for the gift, whoever just sent that. It was pretty sick. Not what the talent is like. Sorry, I'm very curious to see what their success is like, having to play harder competition more consistently. Not that they're a bad team, not that they can't beat those guys, but instead of seeing them once every 5 weeks, now they have to see them once every 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, if their conference is the why am I so blurry here? Whatever. If their conference is the NFC North, then automatically, and they have to play the Bills twice, and you'll probably squeak a win out in there somewhere. Then automatically their schedule is a lot harder. I forget exactly what
Right.
conference. I think you just said it was the AFC South.
Oh yeah, it's the NFC North, and yeah, it looks like AFC South. Jacksonville is there. Um, that's pretty much it. Why is it just Jacksonville?
Because you would know best. Like who is the AFC East conference wise matching up with this season?
I don't know. I don't see a correlation.
Well, that can't be the case.
No, it's not. It's 100% me. I'm having a brain fart. I know it. Oh, it's the West, AFC West. I see it now. Okay.
Okay, all right. Well,
LA
okay. So
Chargers,
you're
Kansas City
playing the
Chiefs,
NFC
Denver.
North and you're playing the AFC West. Automatically, just based
That's
off of last
tough.
season win totals, you are going to have a tougher schedule. It's not going to come out clean. It's not going to come out pretty. It's not going to come out
Right.
easy. So automatically, you expect things to take a bit of a regression for the
Mm,
Patriots. Although, look, I think they've done some soundproofing, for a phrase, to kind of prevent that a bit. They get AJ Brown, they get Romeo Dobbs, they push Pop Douglas and Kyle Williams down the depth chart, and you're not relying on these guys anymore. Even though you lose Stephon Diggs, I would say I'd rather have AJ Brown and Romeo Dobbs, especially even just a one-off. I'd probably rather have both of them over Stephon Diggs at this point in his career. So receiver-wise, you got better, and I think they made some changes across the offensive line, and they brought in a contingency in not Spencer Fano, I'm sorry, Caleb Lomu, uh, to kind of aid things. And I think the situation around Drake May only got better, especially on the defensive side of the ball, where, again, I think they brought in some key free agents. And I'm excited. I mean, I know you aren't, but I'm excited for the Patriots. I think this is year 3 of Drake May. We only expect him to get better.
Is it year
Um,
3 already? Oh my God, he's with Jaden Daniels. I forgot.
mhm.
Jesus. I'm thinking he was a rookie last year. Thank
Yeah.
God. All right, good. That could have
I
been bad.
I'd be lying if I expect him to go to the Super Bowl again. Um, but do I expect him to make the playoffs and make some noise? Absolutely.
Yeah, I like I said, I think it's going to be. I would think that actually I may be flipping my mind now. I've kind of forgot how good the Patriots are set up. Um, their skill group is actually really good. Running backs are like fine because who knows what Trevion Henderson is still. He's listed as second on their depth chart. I know that doesn't mean like a whole lot. He's going to get his touches, but Ramondre Stevenson is like fine. But their wide receiving core is actually like pretty legit. Keyshawn Booty is the 3.
That's what I'm saying. And
That's
Kayshon Boutte
crazy.
was really just a deep threat last year.
Right.
I think being able to rotate Kyle Williams, Kayshon Boutte, and Pop Douglas in that wide receiver 3 spot is
Yeah.
is incredible.
Yeah. And don't
And
forget about Eli Raridan.
as I was literally,
Actually,
I was
actually, I was
just gonna bring him up.
I was kind of just joking. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I'm excited about Eli Raridan.
Nah,
Man,
he's good,
dude.
dude.
I mean, he's coming off injury. Golden Domer, am I right?
That's the only reason why I know. I saw his name. I was like, oh, that's where he ended up.
Yeah,
All right.
but he's coming off injury, and he did some good things when he was there at Notre Dame and actually on the field. So I'm excited. And,
Yeah.
and look, I not that just because they have Josh McDaniels, they're always going to use the tight ends. But in New England, they've always had a history of being able to use the tight ends. Like maybe that's just the Northeast in them, but
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a key piece, especially based off how much Hunter Henry still gets used at this point in his career. So being able to bring a guy like Eli Reardon along, I think is going to make a very solid piece for the Patriots here.
I also forgot that they have AVT, and I'm low key just a little bit sick to my stomach again. Um, it's
Oh my god,
unfortunate,
how did I
but
forget that?
whatever.
I wanted him, and he went to
Yeah,
the Evil Empire.
yeah. I said there's two places you can't go. One of them's better than the other, and he went to the worst one.
Um,
All right, let's move on to the third team, who is probably the biggest wild card. Maybe it's not. I think a lot of people are rating the Dolphins to be the 1-1 for 2027, possibly,
yeah, probably.
which I don't know is very fair. I mean, they definitely don't have great wide receivers. I think it's gonna be fun to see Malik Willis in a real starting position. Devon Achane is legit, but again, depending on what kind of quarterback play you're getting, and their skill position group is pretty rough. Um, I just don't see how that defense is not stacking the box against them. Like bad year for Achane to want the rushing title is what I'm thinking.
Yes, but I mean, it's not like the Dolphins' O line is terrible. If I'm being completely honest with you, I mean they have Aaron
No,
Brewer, they have Patrick Paul, who's really coming on.
Caden Proctor's a rookie,
They
but very
just drafted
promising.
Caden Proctor. Jonas Savaiya is ass. He is,
Sick name though.
but very sick name. You know, Oos. Austin Jackson is serviceable, and they have Charlie Heck
Yeah.
to back him up. I mean, they have okay guys as backups, but yeah, I don't. Jonah is a rough spot for them. So let's actually do that real quick. Patrick Paul, I'll give a check to. I don't know. Do you? If you know these guys, you can give a check. How about that?
No, I don't know that guy.
I'd give a check to Caden Pro. I mean, he's a rookie. We'll see how he does. I thought he was a little overdrafted, but I thought he was a first round pick. So I'll give a check to
I,
him.
I'll skip you the heartache. I know Caden Proctor
Okay.
because we
Aaron
covered him in
Brewer
the
won
draft.
Protector of the Year, so I'm definitely giving a check to him.
Wow,
And Austin Jackson
that
is
must be
iffy.
good.
Jonah, Austin and Jonah, I'll give X's to. So I mean, 3 out of 5 on this Dolphins team is not a bad way to get started. I mean, Malik Willis
Yeah.
doesn't have the worst situation with O line and running back, but it's the wide receiver room where he really doesn't get a lot of help.
And who is this? Who is the coach for this team again?
It's Jeff
What
Halfley
weirdo is
from
this?
Green Bay,
That's right, Jeff Halfley. Yikes. Have
which
fun. All right.
which. But I think he'll make do with what he's got on defense, man. I really do. I mean, their front four, front seven should be better. They brought in Jacob Rodriguez. They still have Chop Robinson. They still have Zach Sealer. Um, Kenneth
Such a sick
Grant.
name, by the way. Chop Robinson. Chop. Your first name being Chop is sick.
Yeah. Kyle Lewis, who's probably going to play like that safety nickel role, so you can play nickel as base, which a lot of the league is doing now. But corner and receiver, that's kind of where this team is really really hurting right now. So, and that's a spot where a lot of teams can take advantage of you at. So we'll see what he can do. It's not like he had the best corners in Green Bay either. So maybe the guy's got a trick up his sleeve, and he can turn his team around quicker than we think.
Have you heard a little bit about Jacob Rodriguez since he's been drafted? I feel like he's been nowhere to be seen on socials.
I mean,
Like
the
no
guy
hype
didn't come
surrounding him
across a
whatsoever.
big socials guy, a big, post on the internet guy. I don't know if that's what you mean. Um,
I just mean like even on like Twitter, like obviously we're seeing all of the main guys, which is fair, Arvell Reed, Sonny Styles, but Jacob Rodriguez was like a pretty highly
oh
coveted
yeah, I mean,
prospect.
people said he should have been in
Um,
contention for the Heisman as a linebacker.
right, so that's what I mean. And like I feel like we just haven't seen anything about him. Again, maybe that's just because of how
Yeah,
our feed is curated, but I was just curious. That's all.
I don't want
Yeah.
to buy in too much to like the training camp videos and the buzz here and the buzz there because I fell for it every year with Jalen Hyatt. And I fell
Buddy,
for it every year of being a fan of any team. So I'm not gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna learn from my
AD
mistakes.
Mitchell, AD Mitchell
Wide receiver one.
is going to be so good. Wide receiver one, don't be ridiculous. Wide receiver two, no doubt in my mind. Guy's going to be so good. Every third tweet is how his connection with Geno Smith is just, which again, maybe that's not even good, but I was like, God, I'm excited. Um, All right, Dolphins. I feel whatever. They're gonna stink, and I'm very excited for the Jets to sweep them for the first time
Yeah.
in my lifetime. Which leads us to the last one of the AFC East, save the best for last, the 2027 and 2028, and for the rest of eternity, AFC East champions. Probably a Super Bowl in the mix there, um, or like a handful. But dude, I'm excited for this team. I'm not gonna lie. The more and more that I see about them, I'm getting more excited. And again, I think that's because I'm a fan. And Jeremy Rucker, Garrett Wilson, Armin Membu, they're all like, oh, this year feels different. You know, it feels like the culture is finally being built. And that's the smoke I don't want to buy into. But God, it's hard because I want it. I want it to work out. Like I want Aaron Glenn to. First of all, let me start with this. I think any Jets fan who's rooting for the team to be bad this year, I feel like does not have their head on straight because I think in all reality, like the Jets have a good roster outside of the quarterback position, but again, Geno is not the answer long term, and I don't think that this is a really fair comparable situation to where he was at with the Raiders when he was asked last year. This is a much better situation. The offensive line, in and of itself, is light years apart from what he was dealing with in Oakland or in Las Vegas last year, and even the skill position group. Like obviously Garrett being your one, and having some unproven rookies, or I guess young vets like A.D. Mitchell for year two, Omar Cooper Jr., Kenyon Sadiq. Um, there is some unprovenness there, but there's talent all across the board. So it's going to be another one of those like, could it work? We're gonna see, but there's definitely a reality where like it does work.
Oh yeah.
I can't help but think that this roster is somewhat built similar to the last time the Jets were in the AFC Championship. Maybe not those exact years, maybe a year or two before it though. Like this feels like the beginning of a sweet spot for what the Jets can be like a real competitive playoff contending team in 2027, 2028. And they get me excited.
I'd agree, dude. I know you don't have the quarterback, and I know you don't want to trade up for one. But you might be too good of a team this year to just fall into a spot where you can get one. And who knows? Maybe the opinions on all these guys are all over the place, and one slips, and maybe you're picking, I don't know, 12, and the one falls to you. Who knows? But right now, with Geno Smith, tank commander at the helm, this is probably one of his best situations he's ever played in his career offensively.
Yeah, easy.
I mean, they're very young and obviously unproven, except for Garrett and Brees. But, I mean, even Mason Taylor, a little proven already, but who knows? But I love this skill group. This is probably the most exciting skill group in the league. Not polished or good, but like exciting. Like you want to watch these guys and see how they do. Can they get good? What are they going to look like? How are they going? Like, what's their role in the offense going to be? All that stuff.
Right.
I love the potential of the two tight end sets with Mason Taylor and Kenyon Sadiq, and A.D. Mitchell.
Even three tight end
say about him,
with Jeremy Ruckert, even throwing him in the mix.
Yes, but I'm just talking the highlight guys.
I get that.
And whatever you want to say about A.D. Mitchell, I'll let you keep the hope alive. But Garrett Wilson and Omar Cooper Jr. is something I want to watch.
Yeah, I agree. Even Kenyon Sadiq, bro. So I texted JJ like individually, just talking ball, like kind of how we do every once in a while. But I think Kenyon Sadiq, looking back on this draft class in 10 years, will be my favorite pick. If there's anybody that I'm excited to watch, like more than anybody else this year, it's him. And maybe, and I don't mean this year in specific, but him as a prospect, as a young player, I'm so intrigued about because I think he is the like cookie cutter prototype for what teams are looking for in tight ends nowadays. They want tight ends that are fast, that are strong, and can essentially play like a really big wide receiver. But it just creates mismatches because when you have guys like, okay, call it A.D. Mitchell, whether he's good or not, he's going to stretch the field. You have to take him seriously because he's fast.
Let's stretch the field.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's going to stretch the field. G5 is G5, ain't no question about it. Omar Cooper Jr., this is probably one of the best situations you could be walking into as a rookie wide receiver, not having to be pressed to produce too much. And Kenyon Sadiq, that leaves you on a linebacker. Are you going to put him on a nickel? Like whoever you put on Kenyon Sadiq, you have a different game plan for. So I'm very intrigued by him. The other note for this Jets team that I'm really looking forward to is Aaron Glenn. He's calling the defense this year in a prove it year, basically. So I'm very excited to see how that switches, especially a defense that didn't get a pick, which first day in pads, Minka Fitzpatrick got an interception on like play 3. So I feel better about that. We'll see.
Dude, I mean, you have complete reason to be excited about this team. Again, it's probably one of those situations where, like, come December, you're going to say, why did we win 6 or 7 games? But
Yeah.
for the year, like, this might be your 2025 year, like I was as a Giants fan. Like, hey, this team might still suck, and that's fine. We'll still lose a lot of games, but we're going to have some fun. Well, we
Gonna
do.
have some fun. I think the game is going to be competitive. I think I'm not going to want to turn it off after their first quarter or second quarter.
No.
The other thing I'll say too on that note, and I think Connor Rogers actually said it, probably the worst case scenario for this Jets team is like going 7-10, going 8-9, and you don't really have a perfect read on Aaron Glenn, if you should move forward with him, if maybe it's time to cut the cord. And things kind of just stay the same going into next year, and you're picking 16th. Like that would suck. That would be the
I was
worst
gonna
case
say
scenario.
like a mediocre record doesn't do much for Aaron Glenn. Like you almost have to just commit to Aaron Glenn right now as Woody Johnson or the front office, because if he goes mediocre this year, and then let's say in 2023 with a young quarterback, you never know how the season, or I'm sorry, 2027 with a young quarterback, you never know how things are going to go, and maybe you lose more games than you should. And now it's like, okay, well, we're back to square one with Aaron Glenn, and he has 10, 11, 12 wins over 3 years. Like, that's not really a coach you usually keep around. And then it's this swirling cycle of, do we put a new head coach with a young guy in the second year and a new playbook and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Like, so it's this interest. The Jets are in a very interesting position.
I could very well see this being like the Chicago Bears 2 years ago, or I should say, I guess just before last year when they had Caleb. Like this is how I envision this going, because I don't think that if even though there was not a lot of them, like if Aaron Glenn doubles his win total, right, take it to 6. Like I said, anything between 6 to 8, I think is like I don't want to call it respectable. Again, it depends on how the other losses look,
Yeah.
but this front office and ownership really seem locked in on Aaron Glenn. And I know that they're supposed to say that, but I think it would take nothing less than an utter like fuck up for lack of a better term in order for them to actually fire him. I think what we would really see is if they're mediocre this year and he returns and then has another mediocre slash bad year, that's when he'll go. But I have a and I don't think it's a maybe it's not a bad feeling. I don't know. I mean, Caleb Williams seems to be fine. But I just have a feeling that the Jets are going to be mediocre this year, and Aaron Glenn is still going to be the coach going into next year. He's going to pick the quarterback, and then we're going to have to redo this in the offseason of 2027 to 2028.
That is the pessimistic Jets fan in you. That's like no
Yeah,
optimism. Like
yeah, but
that's like even though you're saying like you'll be better, that's still no optimism somehow.
yeah, and don't get me wrong, I could go full optimism, and this team could go to the playoffs, but I'm toning it down. You know what I mean? I'm taking it day by day.
I would just have fun this season and see how the team
Uh,
works.
yeah, I want the playoffs. Yeah,
The
I just think it would be
worst
great.
thing
Uh,
would be if all these young, exciting stars are terrible and you missed on
no,
all these
that's
picks.
that's that's just not possible.
Okay,
It's
I'm
not.
just saying,
I'll be
like,
honest with you, pal. I don't think I haven't been more confident in a draft class. I can't even probably since they drafted Brees, Garrett, and Jermaine
we were together.
and Sauce.
I loved the 2026 draft for you guys. I thought you guys did great. I love Kenyon Sadiq. I think he's exciting
I love
and
him.
can be a 5-tool player, as a baseball fan would say. I love D'Angelo Ponce. Love D'Angelo Ponce. And David Bailey and Omar Cooper Jr. just seem like very solid picks. So, and they add to a group that should already be pretty solid as a baseline. So I think they'll be fine. It's just like, there's a shot, one, maybe two at least don't hit,
No,
just
no,
because
I don't
that's how
think
the
so.
draft goes.
I don't think so.
Look, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. The worst thing for
No,
you
but
guys would be that they
no, but
are
I just
not
don't
good.
agree. Yeah, no, I just don't think that that's true though.
And that's fine. And that's the optimistic Jets fan in you. See how you play both sides of the coin. You love the
No, no,
guys, you hate the team.
no, yeah,
That's how it goes. That's
no,
what
they're
being a
just
Jets fan is, buddy. And
no, they're gonna be good.
before we move on, uh, we'll take a little break between divisions here, conferences here. But let's do
Sweet
your O line, and then at the end of the show, we'll come back around and do the Pats and the Bills just because we missed them. Olu, I give a check to Olu.
dog, dog,
Dylan Parham, I'll give an X to Dylan Parham.
pass.
Pass on
Yeah,
Dylan Parham. Josh Myers, I'll give a check to Josh Myers.
all right. I was gonna give a pass.
Oh, okay.
So
Let's go with you. You're the fan. Let's give him a pass.
I'll give a pass just because I feel solid in the next two. So
Joe Tippmann, check, obviously.
check.
Armand, obviously, check.
Is there anything more than a check we can give Armand?
So you have 3 out of 5 checks, and honestly, Armand is a really big check. Um,
He's so good. I'm
but
so excited.
so we'll see how Dylan Parham does and how Josh Myers do. But I mean, again, there's a little continuity with Josh Myers still playing next to Joe Tippmann. Dylan
Yep.
Parham has had a so-so career, but maybe he plays on the better side of average. I think you can, again, have a really, really good-looking O-line to kind of round out this offense that's retooled and young and exciting.
Josh Myers honestly had a pretty decent year last year. Um, I don't know what to think of Dylan Parham. If he can just be a John Simpson, I think we're in a good spot.
Yeah.
Especially again because there's absolutely no way. I mean, I know Gino was bad last year. I still would have had Gino last year over our quarterback play last year. So it literally, quite literally, can't possibly get worse than it was last year.
No,
And the skill position group is just so much
it's
better. I
better.
can't
It's
wait to
better.
see Braylon Allen. By the way, um, but yeah, we can move on to the NFC East now. I feel good.
Yeah, and I know we didn't talk much about your defense, but I think you guys are in a good spot there. So that's really
Oh,
all I have to say.
so good. Javondre Sweat. I can't wait.
I love it. The Jets did a lot of interest. I mean, we'll touch on that, probably more in the first week, maybe in the preseason games when we see if some of these guys play. But the Jets did a lot of very interesting things this offseason. I'd be
Hmm.
surprised if you don't have better results.
Very surprised.
So before we hop into the next conference, I said in my chat that we'll take a little comment break just to get
Sweet.
our guys in. Which guys, thank you for watching, for maybe following, for liking, for popping in, popping out. We're happy to be back. I mean, Sammy, I was absolutely juiced to come and do this today.
Yeah.
So thank you all for sticking with us throughout a quiet summer. Not that there wasn't stuff to talk about, but life gets in the way sometimes, and we're still very small. So thank you, anyways, for joining us again. Some guy said I look like Urja Faber. I don't know who that is.
Dude, you do look like Urza Faber.
Who is Urja Faber? I gotta look him up now.
No idea. I was just kidding.
Oh well, let me see. Urja Faber, mixed martial artist. Maybe he's saying you look like Urja Faber because I don't look like this guy. I do not
God, I
look
hope
like this
not.
guy. Clean shaven, long hair, flowy hair. Don't look like this guy. Anyway,
I'm usually taken for Michael B. Jordan. I'm surprised that's different than what I usually get.
um, Enzo, thank you for sticking with us. Said Aaron Glenn and Kate Klubnik is the future. Extend both now. Trell's asking if we have Madden or CFB 27 yet. No, I am gonna say no. I've been meaning to get on it, but just got a bunch of stuff for a new setup, so things will be looking a little different on my end shortly. So I have to
Hell
prioritize
yeah.
that. But Trell, I will be getting it soon. Don't worry. Especially at least Madden. All right, at least Madden.
I will be getting Madden. I honestly, I'd pass on college football just because to me, again, this is personal opinion. I don't like college football nearly as much as I like the NFL.
Same.
Not to say that I don't love college football, but
Yeah.
it's just a different love that I have for it. And it's the same game. I don't need two football games,
No.
and they're both like $75. So I don't know how young you guys are. If the mom or dad is still buying you video games, kudos to you. It gets a little bit different when you start adulting. Um, so $175 game is going to be good enough to me, and I am a whore for Madden franchise.
Yes, you
So
are.
I
Which
will,
we
I
are
will.
trying to get going. So if you're,
Yeah,
interested in that, stay tuned.
that's
Um,
right.
Brody says I have the 103 in a 12-man PPR, which the Meadowlands Fantasy League PPR is full. We have all 12 slots full. We will be
Wow,
sending the
let's
invite out
go.
soon for those of you who are in here and are in that. And weekly,
Sweet.
we'll be giving you updates. Sammy, I don't know about you on your end. Maybe we'll be doing it together. I think that'd be pretty fun if we're together for that. That's going to be something we're doing live, so people can come in and tune in and see what's going on. Whether on TikTok or I'm going to be on TikTok, but maybe it's only TikTok at that point still, or a new thing we're trying to go to where we have our live on multiple platforms. So stick with us on that one as well. But he says I'm gonna go Chase, but do I double up on wide receiver because he dislikes Henry? So what would he have? He'd
Like
have
Derrick
the
Henry?
109 and the 103 and the 29. Am I right about that? Or the 210? 29. He'd have the 29. I'm a big fan of doubling up on receiver unless there's a running back you can't pass up on. Personally.
I'm always usually a running back heavy first guy because there's just naturally fewer of them than good wide receivers that you can get.
Sure.
Same like process, just flip positions.
I mean, I see what you're saying. Not that I mean, I used to be like that, and then I'll do at least 1-1 now. And for me, if there's just a wide receiver one, that's impossible to pass up. Because as much as I agree with you, there's few running back ones in the league. I think we kind of overestimate how many wide receiver ones there are, and not that every team has one. Obviously, they end up having one, but like that's not how that really works. There's more of a spread the ball on some teams, and wide receiver twos are basically can. I don't think they'll. I think sometimes we think they'll get the same production as a running back one or a running back two, but I don't think that's really the case. I feel like I've been burned in the past because of that. So if there's a wide receiver in the second round I cannot pass up, I go for it.
So then you're waiting hypothetically to draft your first running back in the third round,
Or the fourth.
bro. That's crazy.
I won a fantasy league one year with DeAndre Swift as my RB1 when he
Yeah,
was
because
still
you're playing against
when
nurses,
he was
dude.
still in Philly.
God, bro, that's because you're playing against girls in nursing school. It's
No, no,
different,
no,
man.
no, no. This
You
was
play with
grown
grown men.
men
You can't
who
get
take
away
it
with
way
that.
too seriously.
Nah, maybe they overthought that. It can't be right.
I don't know what to tell you, pal. I don't know what to tell you.
That's not. Please
But
do not listen to this guy.
Brody, my strategy for fantasy, and Brody, I have a board. I've had players I know I like. I have players I know I don't like, and if like this year,
Big
not that
Jawan
not
Jennings
that
guy.
not
This
that I
guy.
wouldn't take him, but I'll probably take him lower than a lot of people would. JSN, I think he's a clear regression candidate for performance. Not that he still won't be good, but he's not going to be triple crown guy, offensive player of the year guy, most likely, just because
Somebody clip it. He said JSN stinks.
But if somebody takes JSN at, let's say I have the 103 like you, Brody, and someone takes JSN at the 1-1, I'm saying hell yeah, personally.
You have to take either Bijan or Jameer at
Oh,
103 then.
absolutely, especially with
Okay, I'm
with
just
the
making. I don't
extension
know. I
Bijan
don't
just
know.
got.
You're like, why don't I take Justin Jefferson at
No. The
103?
days of Justin Jefferson in 101 to 106 are probably gone.
He's a round two candidate now. You're saying?
No, he's back into the first. I'd still take. He's gonna take Jamar at 3. I'd definitely still take Jamar in the top 5.
Yeah.
Let's see.
What do we got next?
Donnie coming
Keep this
in.
train-
We hope he's
keep this
hope
train
he's been
moving.
well. Will with the gift and a hello. Some love for the Hall of Fame game Thursday.
Hell yeah! Can't wait, dude. Blocking my calendar off for it.
Jaden said you're cooked, JJ. I think he's probably talking about the fantasy. Who is believe he's in it with us. If I always, who did you have winning the NFC East that wasn't here for that? Jaden, we actually didn't do the NFC East yet, so we're getting to it in a minute.
Hell yeah.
Landon, we will be doing a NFC AFC South show, so be here for that. And with that, we'll hop right into it. Let's talk about the people I hate. All right.
Hell yeah. Also, too, quick note for you, just because I'm just putting it out. Oh, first of all, we got to get MetLife Cup tickets, by the way. I didn't forget about that, by the way. We got to do that. And also, on that note, I hope the Jets and Giants play in the Hall of Fame game one day, and I want to make that a trip. I'm putting it out there because I want
MetLife Cup in Canton?
Canton MetLife Cup. Would love that.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
But that would
anyways, let's get to...
That would only work... I don't know if that would happen for a while. Let's say that would have to be like Eli Manning and... Who's like a recent Jet that would highlight the Hall of Fame class?
Darrell
already went in.
He's already in. Yeah, duh, that was stupid. Nobody. No one.
Yeah, I don't... You would know better
Nick
than
Mangold,
me.
R.I.P.
Mangold, I think Mangold is deserving of the conversation at least.
100%, dude.
He was best center for years.
Respectfully. So that's always like you play the emotional card to it. I feel like that's a PR stunt.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he's well worthy of the conversation. So that'd probably be what it would have to be, like a Jet and a Giant, obviously highlighting the Hall of Fame class.
Is that usually how it happens? Like, is there like
Breeze and Kuechly are highlighting the Hall of... Wait,
wow.
No, it's Panthers and who again? I'm sorry.
Panthers and Cardinals.
Is Larry... No, Larry's already... Is Larry going in?
Larry who?
Fitzgerald? Is that what it is? Kuechly and Fitzy?
Wow, dude, we're getting old. This is bad.
Let me see. Let me see real quick. Larry Fitzgerald.
When you guys start measuring your lifetime in the players that you knew, you start realizing that you're getting a little old, which I don't think is necessarily like the fairest, right? Because
he's highlighting. Yeah, it's Fitzy and Keeks.
Let's go.
So that's how it works.
Huge.
The two teams are usually someone who has a member of the Hall of Fame that year.
Eli and Nick Mangold, baby. Waiting for it.
Let's go. Come on.
That'd be sick.
The narrative. Canton MetLife Cup.
All right. I'm going to take control of this first because I have an order that I'd like this to go in. I'm not trying to, hijack your... But I have this, I think, in line on purpose. And I want to start with the Commanders.
Are you trying to go to who I hate most? Like a ramp up?
Not... Maybe. In a way, yeah.
Well, you started with the right one if you're saying least.
Yeah. I also feel like they're the least exciting out of this division this year. Brandon Ayuk, is it going to happen? Who knows?
No, he's buried. He's
cooked, dude.
He's cooked
it's so bad,
bro. Although Stephon Diggs is a potential, and that'd be quite an interesting receiver core. Again, not that Terry McLaurin is bad by any means, but he is getting older.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs is also on the positive side of 30 at this point with a couple injuries. They're different players, but they're very similar kind of in situation at a career standpoint. So I think it makes for an interesting combo, and then you pair with Antonio Williams, a young, exciting rookie that people have high hopes for, especially in Washington. And he's a third rounder. It's not like he's like a sixth rounder who's hoping to make the team and fit in the lineup. But
Sam Hartman's still on this roster.
Yeah, that's the game changer.
Fourth on the depth chart behind Athan Kalikmanis.
Yeah, poor guy.
Whoever that guy is.
Poor guy.
That's brutal.
He might just go to the UFL at this point if he wants to play. If Jaden Daniels can stay healthy, this whole team is on a different trajectory, obviously.
Yeah.
He was great his rookie year, still showed the same flashes when he played in year 2, but just couldn't stay healthy. I mean, he's a skinny guy for an NFL quarterback. He's probably just as mobile as Lamar Jackson. But, he's taken some hits, had some unlucky injuries, especially that elbow. I mean, to come back and then immediately get planted on it is rough luck. So if he can stay healthy, obviously this whole thing changes. I think he's a great talent. I hope maybe I don't hope he keeps getting injured, but I hope maybe he fizzles out like RG3 did as a Giants fan. But again, he's the game changer here. He's the linchpin. I'm wondering what's going to happen with that running back group. It's not like they paid an exorbitant amount of money for Rashad White, but that combo with him and Bill Merritt, who they didn't fully want to commit to, that was obvious. Even with Jaden Daniels out and Terry having some injuries, like you know, that's what you would do. You would lean on a run game, but they didn't want to do that. And they gave more of the workload to Chris Rodriguez, who they let walk out of the door to Jacksonville, which is surprising. So I'm interested in the skill group overall. The O-line is all right. We'll go through the checks and passes there in a second. The defense is where it gets interesting because it's a Dan Quinn-led team, right? But the defense was bad last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of how things work. You know, defense kind of goes up and down, up and down. But they had the coaching. They didn't have the horses. And now they might have both. Except, obviously, they have Sonny Styles. They brought in Leo Chanel. Nick Cross.
Don't forget about Javon.
Huh?
Don't forget Javon Kinlaw, dude.
Yeah.
That's a big piece. I just saw it and I started laughing. Oh, God. That's a joke.
Nick Cross and a couple interesting pieces in the secondary at their corner slot, highlighted by Mike Sanders still. I think make for an interesting group. It's the front four, front five, whatever you want to term it, that's interesting to me. You know, they brought in a lot of free agents, highlighted by Odafe Owe. But Deron Payne's only getting older and hasn't done much, at least last year. Johnny Newton has not given them much as a second-round pick. He's only showed some flashes. Odafe Owe and a couple other edge rushers that they brought in might add some juice to a group that didn't have any already. They still have Frankie Louvu, but again, it's your expectations only get so high with that group. Sonny Styles obviously bolsters that, and you're excited to see how he turns out. But they're kind of a question mark. You know, they're changing OCs. They brought in David Blau from the Ben Johnson tree that we can now start saying, which is kind of crazy. He was just an OC himself a couple years ago. And now he has a coaching tree, which is funny. So maybe we see some of that in the Ben Johnson offense, and not that it can't work with a mobile quarterback, but that's a timing offense. That's like a rhythm offense. That's, hey, you do this and it's going to work. And not that, you know, you can't have good results out of structure, but that offense is work in a structure. So I'm excited to see kind of how that plays out. Because Jaden Daniels, that's what he's great at, is kind of, you know, making the most of a play that's going to break down and not take it a negative.
Also, weirdly loving his mom. Very good at that as well.
You're the best, man. You are the best.
I've been waiting to sneak that one in. I'm glad that you brought it back up again because I didn't want to like awkwardly be like, "Oh, this guy also is a mama's boy," but you brought him up because it was a perfect. Yeah, dude, but like weird though. I love my mom, and I know you love your mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but not like Jaden.
I love your mom too. Your mom's a great woman, but like it's just weird.
I don't love my mom like Jaden Daniels loves his mom.
No, dude, no. I don't think the combination of me loving my mom and you loving your mom together is not the same as Jaden.
I don't want to love my mom like Jaden Daniels loves his mom.
Bro, there's never in my lifetime would I give my mom a piggyback ride. Like, ever.
No.
Ever, dude.
No.
That's so weird. So weird.
All right, let's go.
You want to do your thing with the offense?
Yeah, let's do the offensive line. Laremy Tunsil gets a big check, obviously.
Big check. Big fat check.
Chris Paul, we'll pass on him.
Doesn't he play for the Clippers?
He's retired now, actually. Nick Allegretti, I'm going to give a pass to.
Yeah, he's questionable to me.
You're so funny. You're so funny. Nick Allegretti, you know, used to play on the Chiefs. He kind of came in as a backup in short flashes where he was needed. Serviceable, but do you trust him in a full-time starting role? I don't know. Sam Cosmi. That
name does sound familiar to me, though, which is funny. Out of all of them, I mean, Laremy Tunsil, of course.
Yes, obviously. Sam Cosmi, I'm going to give a check to.
Great name. Love it. Good check.
You are so funny. And then Josh Connerly, I'm going to give a pass to only because he didn't have – I mean, he had good bouts as a rookie, but it's not like he, overall was great. But again, I'm giving him a pass for now. I think in a year's time I will be giving him a check. But right now, the Commanders line for me has 2 out of 5 checks, and that doesn't spell for a great combination.
Yeah, I'm with you. Easily, maybe not easily, but I think there's a real situation where the Commanders end up 4th in the division this year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I think it's very real.
I mean,
very
not to be
real.
too high on my own guys, but I mean...
And I'm saying even with the healthy Jaden Daniels, because I'm with you in a non-biased way. I think the Giants are in a very good situation, and we'll get to them. So I don't want to get you ramped up too quick, or get you amped up, I guess, too quick. But I think there's a real situation where the Commanders, even if they're playing good football, if everybody in this division is playing their best football, my faith is at least in the Commanders.
I think it's fair, dude. I think that's fair, and I think I mean, I don't think this is the main reason, but I think the perception on that for a lot of people maybe comes from them having the least exciting skill group on paper.
Right. For sure.
I mean, you talk about it, and you have just at a receiver standpoint, you have let's include starting running backs. You have Bill Merritt, you have Terry McLaurin, and you have Antonio Williams as of right now. Maybe that changes with Stephon Diggs. Who knows? But then you have Saquon Barkley, Devontae Smith, and Mekhi Lemon. Already more exciting. And then you have Devon Booker. Am I right?
I forget.
In Dallas? I'm pretty sure. No, Devontae.
Looking it up now.
Sorry, Devontae Booker.
Javonte Williams.
Oh, my God. I'm an idiot. Merging Devontaes. Too many Devontaes. Devontae Williams, George Pickens, and CeeDee Lamb. I mean, that's the best one in the division.
So much better. Yeah, that's the best
and
one.
And then Cam Scadaboo, Malik Neighbors, and I need your choice of Malachi Fields, Darnell Mooney, or Calvin Austin.
Darnell Mooney.
And even if you don't want that, okay, swap in Isaiah Likely if you really think he's going to be that pass catcher for us.
True. It's a good point. Forgot about that.
We'll get there. But it's just like that. I don't know if that's the only reason, but I think perception-wise, they are the least exciting because of the skill group.
Agreed.
And again, not that he's, not already proven himself. He had a great, phenomenal, maybe one of the best rookie seasons of a quarterback we've ever seen, at least in the last 10 years probably. But year 2, he was too injured to really give you the full picture on him.
Yeah.
So
speaking of, you kind of touched on him a little bit. We're going to move into my next team. Do you want to take a guess who it is?
Dallas.
No. The Eagles.
I really go back and forth. I don't know who I hate more.
I'll explain why. It's not necessarily all about who you hate more because I understand the flip-flop. But I do have a reason for why the Cowboys will be last.
Is it because of our Week 1 matchup?
No, but now that plays even more into it.
Okay. Is it because we've never beaten Dak Prescott?
Nope, but just keep going. The story's writing itself for me. Holy shit, you guys have never beaten Dak Prescott?
No.
God damn, dude.
I know.
God, that's brutal.
It's been rough. It's been very rough.
Oh, God.
The only times we've beaten the Cowboys since Dak has been on the team, it's been a backup quarterback.
God, man. Cooper Rush and Joe Milton, man. God damn.
Actually, it was Andy Dalton and Joe Milton.
Brutal. That's even worse, I think. No,
2022, we lost to Cooper Rush in Week 3.
I'll never forget the text after you went to that Week 1 game. After sitting through a hurricane, just watching your team
Saturday
get
nor'easter.
shafted.
No lie, Saturday nor'easter.
Yeah, factually
Phone
a nor'easter.
And watch. Gone.
Oh, brutal.
Destroyed.
That's brutal.
Didn't score.
Philadelphia Eagles. Let's get into it.
I know these guys not inside and out, but I'll let you take the floor first. Where do you as a objective fan go look at the Eagles like?
Objective fan, I think they take a step back. I'm not as high. They're still going to be good. Don't get me wrong. They're going to be fighting for a playoff spot towards the end of the year. I think that this is a pretty clear division path for the Cowboys as long as they can stay healthy which that leads me into the reason why they're last on this list before the Giants. Um, I don't know, man. The Eagles just don't excite me. I think losing AJ Brown is going to cause a big issue for the Eagles. I know it seemed like there was a locker room chemistry thing that was going on between him and Jalen Hurts. So maybe the power of friendship ends up helping them throughout the season. But I just don't see Devonta Smith being that one. Hollywood Brown is listed as a two on their depth chart. Makai Lemon is already injured with, I think it's a hamstring, I think they said, which may not be the biggest thing, but
So is Devontae
um,
Smith.
even better. So I don't know, man. I'm not excited by their skill group position. Obviously, Saquon Barkley should be their offense. They're going to be a run heavy team as they usually are, and their offensive line is fine. Mailata and Lane Johnson are only getting older. Same thing with Dallas Goedert. So I don't know. I'm just not wowed. And defensively, I think they're in a good place. But same thing, they're a little bit older. Um, this feels like the same team that won the Super Bowl a couple years back, and if anything, they've gotten worse. I think personnel wise.
Yeah, I mean, not. I can't really disagree with you too much. As a Giants fan, looking at them a little subjectively, but I'm able to take my feelings out of it sometimes. Um, the big picture offseason story for the Eagles is this. They lost a lot of pieces in free agency. There's a little bit of an injection of youth and hoping that some guys step up. There's an offensive change. God, I forget his name. It's escaping me. But they brought in a guy from the Packers, and everyone's saying that the scheme is supposed to make Jalen Hurts target the middle of the field more. And not that he can't do that, but he leaned on AJ Brown a lot in the fact that he threw a lot of go balls, he threw a lot of 1-on-1s. It's a big body receiver. You trust him. He was your best friend at one point, publicly. That's what we knew, and you had inherent trust in him. And Devontae Smith, again, we a lot of people for a couple of years kind of talked about the AJ Brown Devontae Smith situation, kind of similar to how we talk about Jamar Chase and T Higgins, where T Higgins I think could be a bona fide one on most teams, but again, he's if you had to tier it, he's at the bottom of the wide receiver one tier. I've stayed on the healthy stance that Devontae Smith works best as a two, like a true two. He's a great player. And I don't kick myself for the Giants not taking him in the draft a couple years ago. I didn't want him at the time, and I'm okay that we don't have him now, personally. So I'm interested to see how he works as a one again, because there was a year where they didn't have A.J. Brown on the team with Devontae Smith, and Jalen Hurts was still the guy at the helm. And it was okay. It was fine. It wasn't great. Nothing to write home about, but it was fine. Now we'll see what Makai Lemon turns into. But again, he's a rookie, right? So you're excited for him, but there's a chance he doesn't do well. And Hollywood Brown as your third is okay. Elijah Moore, trying to see what he still has in the tank. As a former Jets fan, probably not much.
Probably not a lot. I'm no expert, but
Saquon is phenomenal. I don't want this to sound like jaded Giants fan here, but he can be a true product of his environment. He's going to give you a baseline, and he's going to make the best of a great situation. I don't know if this is a great situation. I mean, Green Bay, we've seen in the past, they love to be run tough at certain points in the season, except for Toyotathon for Jordan Love. Maybe that's the North in them, thinking they have to have this run tough mentality. But again, it's not like Philly's too different weather-wise. I mean, obviously it doesn't get as cold, but it's still the Northeast. You're pretty tough. The O-line on paper is great, right? Let's do the check pass right now. Jordan Mailata, check.
Pass. I meant passes and like you passed the
passes test.
But I meant check. Yeah, check.
Landon Dickerson, check. Cam Jurgens, check. Tyler Steen, check.
Don't know who that is.
I know you don't know who that is. That's okay. He's all right, but he gets a check. And then Lane Johnson is still probably one of the best offensive tackles in the football, so obviously he gets a check. Older, a little more injury prone, got to have maybe a contingency in there, which they drafted Markel Bell. They brought in Fred Johnson. Actually, kept Fred Johnson, who was a serviceable in stints. And so, yeah, I think the Eagles might be the only team that has maybe 6 checks on their team instead of just 5. So again, that should give them a certain baseline. Defensively, I think it's going to be very interesting. They lost a lot of pieces, but they still semi-retained a good amount of their guys, and they still have Vic Fangio, so the system's still in place. They have Quinyon Mitchell, they have Cooper DeJean. They brought in Rick Woolen to replace... Why is it escaping me? Their CB2. I don't know. It's escaping me. But they brought in Rick Woolen.
Darius Slay?
No, Darius been off the team.
Damn, I'm outdated. We'll get there, guys. We'll get back in the groove. I'll be all right. Get it going. I'll be fine.
They lost Reed Blankenship, but they have guys that they drafted previously to make up for that. And I love the Jonathan Grenard move. Hate that it's for them, but I think it's great business. That is my how did Howie do it again move, along with Mekhi Lemon for this draft. And Jalen Carter, already pretty solid player. Jordan Davis, great in the run game. Okay as a juice guy in the pass game, but you'd rather have him than not have him. And they still have Nolan Smith. So I think this team can still be very good. They still have Zach Bond, Jahad Campbell. I think this team can still be very good. I just think they've taken a step back roster-wise, and now they're in that very similar to, I feel like, a good chunk of teams in the league. They're in this, let's wait and see what we got and see what this turns into. 5.
Yeah. Also, don't forget too that Nick Sirianni is using ChatGPT, so maybe that helps them out. You know what I mean? Who knows? Yeah, a couple of motivational books might get them right. Guess we're just gonna have to wait and see, right?
Yeah, I mean, agreed. I think it's going to be interesting. Not that I have more faith in us against the NFC West. That's not what I'm saying. But our division plays the NFC West as a matchup. So I mean, you're gonna see the Eagles against these great teams like the Seahawks and the Rams, who go to toe with them every year, and the Niners, who just seem to have their number. So there's going to, and again, the NFC East is supposed to be very competitive. So if the Eagles drop, a fair amount of games, I'm going to be interesting what the in-season narrative and momentum is for them.
Right. All right. Well, I guess that brings us to the boys.
Yes.
These guys. Go ahead. Sorry.
Just real quick, because these are pertinent to the Eagles here.
Go ahead. You're right.
Will said Sean Mannion is the OC that came in from the Packers. Thank you for that, Will. And Kyle said Isaiah Rodgers might have been the CB2 that got replaced. I think he was in Minnesota last year. I don't know who I'm trying to talk about, but they lost a solid corner and like a fairly household name, and then just replaced him with Rick Woolen, so it didn't matter. I don't know.
Oh my God, no, you're right. Because now I was like, I remember this conversation we were having.
Not Keely Ringo. Keely Ringo's still on the team, Jaden.
Now it's gonna bother me too.
Well, so my buddy Dinar here, he's an diehard Eagles fan who I know from Cortland, played football with him. DB, wasn't Slay in Pittsburgh? Wasn't that his second season in Pittsburgh though? Because they lost him this offseason, the quarter I'm talking about, and Slay was already in Pittsburgh. It could have been his first year, but that happened 2 off seasons ago.
Adoree Jackson?
No, not Adoree. I wouldn't be talking about Adoree like that.
Hey man, I'm trying to help.
Adoree lost his juice in New York. He didn't have any juice in Philly.
Trying to help, all right?
I appreciate it. Who am I talking about? The comment section is gonna get me there.
Quinyon Mitchell, Mac McWilliams, Adoree Jackson, Michael Carter II can't be him. Brandon Johnson, Cooper DeJean.
Say it again. Say last season's depth chart again.
Cooper DeJean, Brandon Johnson, Jacorian Bennett, Michael Carter II, Adoree Jackson, Mac McWilliams, Quinyon Mitchell, and Perry Nicholson, and Keely Ringo.
Maybe it is Adoree. DB saying that Adoree and Q started, which, Again, Adoree is your CB2 at this point. Not great. But yeah, Keely's still on the team. Coop is obviously still on the team. Quignon's still on the team. Michael Carter they traded for, and I think gave an extension to. He's still on the team.
Yikes. Just kidding. He was actually pretty good.
He's serviceable, especially as a nickel.
As a nickel, yeah, he was very solid.
Maybe I was talking about Adoree. I didn't think I would talk about Adoree in that light at this point, but they replaced him with Reek Woolen, so it's not like they're really going to miss him.
He's a huge Adoree fan.
They're not going to miss him.
You're actually, now that I think about it, you're the biggest Adoree Jackson fan I think I've met ever. The amount of time you talked about him.
Adoree, gave me a special moment on Christmas against the Eagles in 2023 when he returned it for a pick six. I thought we had that game. I really did. We did not.
The Adoree adorer.
Here you go. All
right.
Them
boys.
Introduce those guys for me.
Well, Dallas Cowboys. What can be said about them, right? Nothing that's been said in previous times. They're built great, and somehow they're going to find a way not to get it done. And I'm just excited to see how they do it again this year, because this team is pretty freaking good. Defensively, a couple question marks here. We'll get through it, but I love their offense, man. If Dak can remember how to play football, not to say, I mean, he was a little banged up last year, so that's not all on him. They had a first-time head coach with Schottenheimer. Right, he was a first-time head coach, right? I'm not making that up?
Yes, no, first-time head coach.
Okay, cool. Dak Prescott, Javonte Williams, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Ryan Flaherty, whoever that guy is. But they have
Ryan Flanoy, serviceable wide receiver 3.
Flanoy.
I think maybe he gets a little too much love, but he's solid.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling, former Jet. Have you guys know Devontae Turpin. Jake Ferguson, and their O-line seems pretty solid. Let's go through it. I want to see your checks and balances system here. Tyler Guyton.
Tyler Guyton. I'm gonna pass on Tyler Guyton.
Okay. Tyler Smith.
Check.
Awesome. Cooper Beebe.
Check.
Tyler Booker. Check.
Yeah, I'll give him a check. He was pretty solid as a rookie.
Terrence Steele. Check.
Pass.
Really? That guy's name is no. There's no way. That guy's name is too good to be bad.
Pass.
Wow. All right. 3.
Yeah.
Borderline 2.
Yeah.
They're decent.
I think that's fair. I think there's question marks around. There's even question marks around Tyler Booker if he can repeat what he did in 2025. So, not that I think this O-line's gonna be bad. I'm interested to see what the ceiling is going to be. I think they have a predictable floor, a very average floor, but I'm interested to see what the ceiling here is going to be for them.
Okay, and then their defense, I won't go through the whole depth chart here, but we'll just give you some of the highlights here. Quinn Williams, I'm going to miss him. First full season without him. This is so weird, and I don't like it, but good for the Cowboys. Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary, DeMarvion Overshawn, am I saying that right? Awesome. D. Winters, Malik Hooker, Deron Bland, Caleb Downs. Yep. Wow. Can't wait to see him, dude. That's going to be fun.
A moment that will
dude.
Continue to tie the Giants and Cowboys together is that pick.
Yeah, 100%. For at least the next decade, unless he gets traded elsewhere beforehand. But for the Green Bay Packers for nothing, right? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think that this is going to be your NFC East winner, to be honest with you. If everybody can stay healthy, I love the tandem of CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, and Jake Ferguson is a very serviceable tight end. So it's no doubt that this is a passing attack offense. And if both CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens can stay healthy, I think honestly that's your. I don't think that this is a hot take by any means, but I think that may be your best 1-2 in the league. I know Jamar Chase is Jamar Chase, and he's better than CeeDee Lamb. But I think I'd rather have George Pickens at this point over T. Higgins.
I don't want to. I think T. Higgins. Well, first off, let's start this right. Let's address what you just said first. CD, it's okay. Jamar and CD, no doubt in that conversation, right? Out of the 4 of them,
really.
Jamar, CD. I'm still gonna go T, and then I'll go GP. In that conversation of 4 people.
Oh, yes.
Not league total, not league wide. Out of those 4 people, I,
So you
I
think T. Higgins is better than George
I
Pickens?
think they're different players. I think George Pickens has a higher ceiling as a talent, but I think I think T has just put together too much of a solid career at this point that we can just put a couple spectacular catches in Pittsburgh and a very good year, one good year in Dallas, and rank him above him. I think that's very recency opinion. I think a lot of people have that opinion. I don't think you're wrong to put your head there, but I think that's
Mhm.
just a little recency opinion. In my case, or in my take, um, I want GP to do it again. I don't want him to do it again, but I think he can, and I need him to do it again for me to give him uh, that grace or that
I
credit, I
guess that's
guess.
fair, right? It could be a 1 year wonder type thing.
Yeah, and I don't think
That's
it is. I think
understandable.
he's gonna be great and he'll be fine. But I just need to kind of see that again. You know?
Yeah. And it's kind of like the Devonta Smith situation too. Like we've only seen him as a one, and it was kind of whatever. He also wasn't playing with great quarterback play, so he goes to a place that they have a legit starter. And now he doesn't have to be the guy. I mean, he ended up being the guy for some time because he got hurt. But I I think as a two, especially like that, that's one of the scariest twos that your
Oh,
defense is gonna have to figure out.
completely agree. And I think
Yeah.
whoever you kind of rotate in there, and again, Flanoy is a good three, but whoever you rotate in that three spot can really round out that core. I think their offense it has the tools to be phenomenal. I think the continuity in Brian Schottenheimer's system, a healthy Dak, um, a motivated GP to get his bag since he's on the tag.
Right.
And CeeDee Lamb, he's going to be who CeeDee Lamb is. Jake Ferguson, I'll tell you, I'm very excited about him, uh, because that's just what he's been in Dallas. Like, he's been a very good player in Dallas. So
Hmm.
I'm excited about him for fantasy purposes. I think he'll have a good season. That he's just always had a good season. He's never been the guy to not at this point in his career. Um, and then they have a. We'll see what their O line is. I think a very predictable floor again. We'll see if they can hit their limits, ceiling wise. And then Devontae Williams is a solid running back, but they still have Jaden Blue. But there's not a lot of money committed there, so it's not like it's a big deal if one of them busts.
I would love to see, or I shouldn't say I would love to see it, but I feel like this could be a situation where into the trade deadline time frame where they trade for a running back if they're making a push, and that's the one piece that's missing on this offense, really.
I think they need 6 wins at the deadline to do that. So I'm on board with that idea, but I think it's going to take a bit, unless Jerry Jones just absolutely you know gives up the launch codes and presses all the buttons, which is always a
Would you
possibility
would you
for
put
old
it past
Jerry
him,
Jones.
JJ? Yeah.
Huh?
I said, would you put it past him?
No, I would not.
Would you? No,
No.
no, you wouldn't.
To
No.
move on to the defense, I mean, on paper, it looks like a very fun group. Simeon, who's been here before, we appreciate you coming back. Said can't wait for Dallas to trade for Jordan Brooks, which I don't know why the Dolphins would ever give him up. Maybe for more picks and more rebuild in their efforts, but he's a great backer, so I don't know why they would give him up. Um, and then DB said the boys' defense is going to be dominant this year with Christian Parker at DC. As an Eagles fan, he knows Christian Parker very well. Almost similar to Jim Leonard, where manned a very good secondary and then moves to a team with comparable on paper, but definitely a step down. Um, and again, it's going to be interesting and to see what he turns them into. I think the front four is where you have the questions for Dallas. I don't think they have the Marvion, and then that's kind of not that that's it at backer, but it's kind of it. They brought in D Winters in a trade in the draft to play next to him, but that's all you kind of need at this age in the NFL. You can kind of play like nickels anywhere you want, and Caleb Downs
Right.
probably lets you do that. So I don't think there's a lot of trouble there. It's the front four that's going to get me. Quinnen, great player. We both know that as New Yorkers and seeing him play for a long time here. Kenny Clark is only getting older, and I think he'll give you what he can, but there's probably not much. So they have two or one of the two DT spots filled out. I forget exactly what scheme they're running up front. If it's a
3-4.
3-4, so they really only need Quinnen. Kenny can probably actually. Who's playing nose?
Otito
Quinn's not playing true
Ogbonia.
nose, is he?
Otito Ogbonia is who the nose tackle is right now.
I don't know. I don't know. Which says a little something. It doesn't say everything, but it says a little something. Again, I think they're another.
If JJ doesn't know him, problem.
I think they're another
Not
team that
good.
made some interesting moves in the offseason. I don't know why if they're gonna run a 3-4 like that. I don't know why they gave up Oso Digizuwa, who they paid a couple years ago in a trade to the Niners, because he could have played an unbelievable 3 to heavy 5, whatever you want to play your guys at in that scheme. I think Quinnen's going to play the 3 spot in that defense. And then, your edges are interesting. You have, I forget his first name, but Basham from Michigan is a rookie. Malachi Lawrence, the first-round pick, is a rookie who's got a lot of juice.
Right.
But is unpolished. And then you have Rashawn Gary, a veteran in the room, but it's not like he's been a great player throughout his career. He's had some flashes year to year, but he's just coming off his worst year. You didn't give up nothing for him. You gave up a 4th rounder, which again, you like to have the top 3 rounds in your arsenal, but a 4th rounder isn't nothing to throw away. Yes, Jaden, thank you, Azaraku. So they have a very young pass rushing stable. LT Overton, we'll see what he becomes. I'm not like, he's going to be phenomenal.
He's listed 3rd on the depth chart right now.
Yeah, he's a rookie, late round rookie, so we'll see what he becomes. Maybe like a situational guy. But Ezeraku, Malachi Lawrence, and Basham is a very young stable. And Basham, especially, I believe, hasn't played edge rusher for long, but he's aggressive, he's heavy-handed, he's strong, all the tools you kind of need up front. And if he can rotate in, and Malachi Lawrence and Ezeraku can be your primary edge guys, you'll be fine. But it's a lot of questions there.
A lot of questions. I kind of feel good for Dallas, dude. I do think that this is going to be your NFC East winner, personally.
I don't think that's a bad guess, personally.
I just feel like and I don't think it's going to be easy, right? Like you said, the schedule is pretty difficult for the NFC East this year. And the Eagles are certainly not going to let them just take away the division. I mean, even in history, right? There really hasn't been winners for multiple years in a row like there have in other divisions. I think last year and the year before, that was the first time that it's happened for the Eagles, right?
Correct.
In 20 years or something like that. It's crazy.
15?
Still, that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? But I just feel like this offense, especially Dak, CD, and GP, are going to carry this team.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think if one of those 2 guys goes down, it's very similar
Different
to
story.
Cincinnati,
100%.
where, yeah, sure, one of them can probably carry the load, but it's not as exciting, and you're losing something.
Yeah, it's fair. Let's get to the bread and butter. Let's get to the fun stuff.
We've reached the promised land. What we've been waiting all night for. At least I've been waiting all night for.
What a fun roster, dude.
Yes.
I'll give you my take on it.
Go right ahead, my friend.
I'm gonna run through the offense. Let's go offense then defense first, right?
Absolutely.
Jackson Dart, so freaking cool. I still wish he was my quarterback.
So cool.
Cam Scatterbo, Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton, Darnell Mooney, Isaiah Likely, Patrick Ricard, Patrick Ricard, Andrew Thomas, John Runyon, John Michael Schmitz, that's a stupid name, Francis Mauinoa, and Jermaine Illuminor. Very, very well put together offense on paper.
Let's do the checks and passes right now. I'll be
checks and passes. Andrew Thomas.
Oh my God!
Pass.
What a check!
Just kidding. That's a check and a half. John Runyon.
Pass.
Okay. John Michael Schmitz.
At this point in his career, he's a pass.
Played
a lot better last year, though.
I agree. Francis Mauinoa. Check.
He's a rookie.
I already like him.
He's a rookie, but we'll give him a check.
I don't care. He hasn't stepped on the field.
I like that because I would have given Armand Membu a check last year if we did this.
I appreciate it. No, I think he is the right pick. R.I.P. Caleb Downs, but I think it was the right idea. And Jermaine Illuminor had a decent year last year.
He's a check. He's a very solid
I'll speak
check.
you by. Solid, all right, even better. I like the confidence in it.
Yeah, very solid check.
Okay.
He was my priority free agent I told you that. We did that. The people know.
I like it. All right, cool. My major negative with this group, and I don't think you're necessarily going to agree with this. I don't love your skill group position. Um, I like
That's
Cam
fair.
Skattebo. I'm curious to see what he's like as a true number one. He split a lot of time with Tyrone Tracy last year. I would expect them to do some sort of a split again, especially with him coming off injury. But at least from some of the reports that have come out during training camp, it seems like he's going to be um, a strong pillar of the offensive production,
Yeah.
or at least they're going to give him a lot of touches. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can do with that, like handling that sort of a load. Pause. And then wide receiver wise, I'll be honest with you, dude. I don't buy anybody besides Malik Neighbors. I love Malachi Fields. I'm very excited for him. I really hope he pans out. He had some really crazy plays from Notre Dame. Um, and I think development wise, look, he's a rookie, so he's still so young. You could develop him into something. But all of my knowledge on him is a straight deep threat and just didn't really show up in big games. Um, so I hope that that's not the case. I think with some help around him, Darnell Mooney, Calvin Austin, it'll be easier for him to develop into a balanced wide receiver. Darius Slayton, even though somehow he's like one of the more successful Giants wide receivers,
And he's.
like
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. I haven't heard like anything about him in a long time.
I don't know if that's good or
I
bad.
like
That
you
could
said
be.
his name, and I was like, oh yeah, he is still on
Oh
the
shit,
team.
he's on the team. Dude, I heard something crazy. Apparently, he's like top 10 in yards in your franchise.
Yeah,
That's
he's a
crazy.
deep threat. It's easy
But like, I feel like just flew under the radar. Like, I couldn't even tell you how long he's been in the league for.
since 2019. Fifth round pick, Daniel
Yeah, you're
Jones,
right.
same
Look at
class.
that. So honestly, it really hasn't been like that long. I mean, it's been a little while,
No.
but um, point being, I think if the plan for this offense is to run out of Malik Neighbors when he's fully healthy, which, as I've stated months ago, I think he's going to be ready for week one. I still believe that that's the case. Um, if they're running out of Malik Neighbors, Cam Skattebo, and Isaiah Likely, I feel much more confident. I don't know how much I love the twos and threes wide receivers that you guys have.
No, that's so fair, and I'll take the reins here. I think we'll start with the offense. First off, Matt Nagy offense, Greg Roman influences. So you're gonna see a lot of heavy personnel. And again, not that I know Matt Nagy is a dipshit or I know that he's a guru, but he's had great results and he's had bad results. So
Yeah.
I expect a mixed bag. Um, Maybe it takes some time for this offense to get going, but I think we're going to see a fair amount of heavy personnel. And I'm telling you, I would be shocked if we didn't see a lot of Malik and Malachi, two tight end sets, and Ricard right in front of Cam Skattebo.
Also, I'm sorry not to cut you off, but I also forgot OBJ. I don't know how I forgot that. It's just because he's a little bit deeper into the depth chart. And I mentioned that because Will brought it up and said I thought the Giants signed OBJ. They did. I don't know how much we should really expect of him. Although some of the training camp highlights look pretty freaking sick. So if he could, put
It's
together a little bit more,
It's
whatever he's
very
got left.
nostalgic to see him back at Giants
Yeah,
camp, and they said that he's working with the ones very recently as of late. So we'll see what that means for him. I'm sure he's going to get a lot of preseason time. Probably not too
yeah,
much because of his knees and his injury history, but enough where hey, give him a fair shake to make this team.
yeah.
But again,
And I
getting
don't
back to
know.
it,
Sorry.
no, you're good. You're good. Malik looks great as a preseason standpoint in the videos that we've seen at a training camp. So
Right.
I think it's a very fair shot he makes it back for week one. Maybe he skips those first 2 weeks and come back to an easier week 3 matchup just to kind of ease himself back in. Rather than what we were talking about initially, where the first time we see him might be in Philly after the bye.
No, no, no. First time you were saying.
Look, if anyone's going to put a timeline on it, it's the fan, isn't it? Um, but Malachi, I mean, I think, Malachi, Calvin, and Darnell, that's the reason you bring in three guys like that is because, hey, you know that you're probably going to get something out of one of them, and that's all you're really looking for.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And then
What?
if the other two fall in line to be a rotating three, and you get Darius Slayton in there every once in a while to, one, limit the effect of the drops if he still has them, and two, if you hit on it, you get a deep play out of it. Then it's great, and then you're able to somehow hit a spread offense if you need to, and then you can line up in a two tight end set or maybe an I formation with the other personnel you have in Theo Johnson, Isaiah Likely, who's probably going to play a lot of slot as a tight end, make up for that Wandale role. And then Ricard and Scadaboo and Tracy. I mean, I think, as a running back room, incorporating Ricard there in that running back title, it's a great room. It's not the best in the NFL, obviously, but it's one that you have a lot of faith in and are willing to roll out there on Sundays with. So, and you get 3 out of 5 checks on offensive line, and maybe John Michael Schmitz takes another step, and John Runyon plays average, or maybe hits the positive side of average, and then all you're really looking for here is Jackson Dart to take another step in his progression as a year 2 quarterback, and you really got something cooking.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And honestly, too, now that I'm looking at it and you mentioned it the way that you did, I feel more confident that Isaiah Likely is on this team. That is such a huge pick for you guys.
Oh yeah.
Also because Theo Johnson is very solid. Like that's a for him to be tight end 2 is very, because again, Isaiah Likely is this a very similar conversation to the Kenyon Sadiq, like that model of a fast, strong, just headache for a defense to try and figure out how to cover.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be a very, very like major chess piece for you guys.
Yeah, and there's a solid amount of there's a handful of tight ends I'm high on fantasy wise just because of the scheme they're in and the coaches around them. Greg Roman used to be in Baltimore. Mark Andrews was baller. And Matt Nagy obviously coached Travis Kelce for a long time. Now, I'm not saying they're like for like, but you get 2 coaches that have experience with solid tight ends, and we'll see what influence they. And the thing is, Andrews, more Theo Johnson. Travis Kelce, obviously more Isaiah Likely. So you get that best of both worlds. Maybe both of them can take a next step in their careers. And you don't pay him, $40 million to not use him. So I think you're going to get the most usage out of Isaiah Likely, and we'll see if he can make the most of it. And Jackson Dart is not a guy who's afraid to let it rip. We saw that. He fired some into Theo Johnson in the red zone. So I think you're going to continue to see that, and then continue to see that with a more athletic version of that in Isaiah Likely. And with the Malachi Fields, Calvin, and the Darnell Mooney, Kelvin Austin, I feel like is more possession and chain mover, but Malachi Fields and Darnell Mooney, Dart is going to rip it and give him a chance on those go balls and those deep balls. And we've never seen Malik and Dart play together outside of a quarter and a half.
One game. I was going to say, not even a one game, not even one full game. I think the other thing that excites me is the fact that Jackson Dart, you would say, had an above average rookie year. And when
he
you
was
look
in the
at the
offensive
roster,
rookie of the year conversation.
Right, exactly. So yeah, you're right, even better than that. So point being, and that was in the midst of a coach firing. He did not have a wide receiver 1. Then he lost his running back 1. And he still played pretty freaking well. Like if this team can stay healthy, there's no reason in my mind as to why he's not going to take a step forward and he's not going to lead this offense to success.
Yeah, and we'll see if he can stay healthy. It was a very freak injury in Philly when it happened, but Scadaboo only played 6 games.
Yeah.
So you get a healthy Malik Davis, you get a healthy Cam Scadaboo for the whole year. You've improved your skill positions, and if your offensive line can stay kind of the above average level they played at last year, I think Jackson Dart has no reason not to take that next step, other than getting used to a new scheme.
Don't forget about Bo Collins, by the way. Another
Golden Domer.
Gotta love him.
Let's
get to the fun part for you.
Was.
I was gonna say, let's get to the fun part for you. I know you're chomping at the bits to get to it. Shelby Harris, DJ Reader. That's a fun one for 10:30 at night. Darius Alexander, Brian Burns, skipping the next one. Jermaine Edmonds, Abdul Carter, Paulson Debo, Tyler Nubin, Javon Holland, Greg Newsom II, Drew Phillips, and Arvell Reese.
What did you skip?
Arvell
Kayvon?
Reese. I wanted to make sure he was at the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's your starting right now as per the depth chart. But you do have Kayvon in the two, Lakey Fotu, Jack Kelly seems pretty exciting. Deontay Banks, Jason Pinnock. I mean, this defense looks pretty freaking exciting, dude.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the starters. And I know Kayvon's not a starter, but he's lumped into that rotation, so he's technically a starter.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Colton Hood.
Yeah, Colton Hood. We're able to roll, especially front seven wise, kind of 7-8 deep at this point in like the rotation of everybody. Where, especially at the edges, you have Abdul, you have Kayvon, and you have Brian at a face value. Oliver, this is not fantasy football advice. We do fantasy football, so give us a follow. Stick around with us. We will be doing that in shows to come. But right now, we're just doing a preview of the AFC and NFC East. Getting back to it, Abdul, Brian, and Kayvon, I mean, that is our key rotation. That's our prime rotation at pass rusher. Obviously, Arvell can mix in there, but let's just talk about where they're going to start in their roles. I think if you still had Dexter Lawrence, you had across the board in Darius Alexander, Dexter Lawrence, the three guys I just mentioned, Arvell Reese, even when it was Bobby Okereke before he was released, and now it's Tremaine Edmonds. Even with Micah McFadden, you have guys that can blitz, rush, and drop into coverage pretty much across the board. Now, the only exception to that is obviously Derek. You're not going to drop DA into coverage, but Shelby Harris and DJ Reader, it's questionable how much juice you're going to get from them in the pass rush. But that's fine, because on third downs, long second downs, you're going to sub them out in some way, shape, or form. And you're going to get that. You're going to replace that juice that you lost in Dexter Lawrence. You're not going to fully replace it, but you're going to try to replace it in the aggregate.
Also, you don't need them to be sack machines. You need them to be gap fillers, and then let your edges do the work.
We're trying to get the third down in that sense.
That's it, man. And boy, do you guys have the firepower to do that, man.
So, I mean, Tremaine Edmonds has been very up and down. He's had some, his last year in Buffalo, and I think one of his years in Chicago, he was very, very good. Other than that, he's been average. Probably not justifying the first-round pick that he was, but any given year, he's so rangy and athletic and still very young as a player for what he is in the NFL that you can get a range of expectations and production out of him. So let's hope he hits the high range on that. But playing in a defense that is surrounded by playmakers, where in Chicago, not that he carried the whole load, but there was always something missing in Chicago, whether it was a piece here on the back end or a couple pieces there on the front end. But in New York, he's not the only guy now. He doesn't have to do a lot.
Bro, I was just gonna say that. First of all, he's not even 30 yet. He's still 28. You know what I mean? So he's very well in his prime. And this is by far the most talented team he's played on. I don't know the depth charts by like memory as to the teams that he's most recently played on, but I can't fathom that it would be better than what I'm looking at right now.
I mean, the best, except for Arvell, the best linebacker he played next to was Matt Milano.
Which is solid.
Which is very solid. But you expect Arvell, being a fifth overall pick, to be maybe not the first year, but way more than solid, right?
Right.
So we'll see how that. I think it's going to go very well. I hope it does. And the thing is, not only do I believe in Denard Wilson, but I think just the change in general at defensive coordinator for the side of the ball that's already very volatile in nature is probably going to give them a positive spike in play just inherently. The change, I think, is going to be good for him. And then it's like, okay, well, there's still the chance that Denard Wilson is just the next guru on defense. And he can mold this group into something really, really special, given all the talent that's there.
Tremaine Edmonds is going to be your green dot, I'm assuming, right?
Depends. Depends on how much they believe in Arvell, probably.
No way you do that to a rookie right away.
I'm telling you.
That would be. Honestly, I'd be shocked.
I don't think so either because he's a rookie. But
he'd probably figure that out.
They're all learning the scheme at the same time.
I guess that's true. It's a good point.
I
feel like you got to lean on the guy with the experience.
Leo, Leo was the green. I don't know if he was the green dot in Chicago because T.J. Edwards was very good, and they had some other guys that could have been the green dot. Eddie Jackson for a bit.
Mm.
Jalen Johnson wasn't going to be it, but Jaquan Brisker could have taken that role. I forget their other safety, but he also could have probably taken that role if I remember correctly. I think Leo was the green dot in Kansas City. Maybe it's Drew Tranquil. I forget, but I don't know how much in his career he's been that guy to do that. So I'm imagining he's going to be. But if Arvell really takes to the system, I wouldn't be surprised if they gave him that role. And maybe Javon Holland. I know he didn't have the best year last year.
I was going to say that he was going to be my next
But
guess.
he was the guy who was the green dot when Okereke was injured.
Right.
So, and I think he'll bounce back. And I think Tyler Newman's going to have a better year. And why is this escaping me? It's Colt in the Hood, it's Deontay Banks, and who is our other corner? Oh,
corner-wise?
Drew Phillips. Drew's not a perimeter guy. He's our slot, or a nickel, whatever you want to call it. I mean, he'll play wherever.
Yeah.
He's more inside, right? But you're gonna get Colt on the perimeter. You'll see what Deontay Banks is as a rotational guy now. You have Greg Newsome in there. You have Ardarius Washington who can play corner or safety. So I'm kind of excited to see how it can go.
Very, almost a given Madden franchise pick, by the way, Ardarius Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the guy was a 79, but he had a star. He had the star. What's it called? Basically, he upgraded quicker than usual.
Yeah.
And he was 24. I was like, yeah,
that's
no
fantastic.
problem.
There was
pay him $5 million a year. Yeah,
I
easy.
haven't played Madden and I haven't played Madden franchise in so long, but that is a core memory to have people like that where they're gonna be at some point in the draft. You're like, oh, I don't have to pick this now. I can get this guy.
Yeah, no, it was so great. But that's pretty much it for your Giants, dude.
Pretty much. I mean, it's a wide range of expectations. I've told people that I talk about it with outside of this that we're not good yet. We're exciting. We should be good. And I've said the ceiling for us is. I've said this to you many times. Said on here many times. The ceiling for us is 12, and the floor for us should be 7.
The only pushback that I'll give on that, not that I think that you're wrong by any means, because I do think that the roster is talented enough to get up to that 12 ceiling. The issue is you guys have a tough schedule, the toughest schedule actually, in the NFL this year. So it's just something that.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
No, we did
I'm
last
pretty sure
year.
You guys. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I forget.
Cardinals and the Dolphins have the on paper toughest schedule.
Oh, awesome! That's so annoying. We're gonna get Norris Sellers. Anyways, all right, scratch that. Point being, it's still a young-ish team. I mean, you guys got some veteran presence there, but it's a young-ish team, and now they're getting a new coach, right? With new systems. It's always interesting to see how these teams, and we talk about this all the time. There's always teams that get new coaches. Half of them are good. Half of them obviously need some more time to gel. And it's just going to be interesting to see what Harbaugh can do to make sure that this team is brought quickly up to speed. Now, again, I personally think that Jackson Dart is going to be my favorite quarterback from that 2025 class, 2024 class, whatever it was. But I do think that it's very possible, dude. And honestly, I don't know if you feel the same way. Try to be an objective fan to this, but I think you guys are kind of being criminally underrated right now. I've seen some of the preseason power rankings, and the Giants are in the 20s. I know you got to prove it and you got to earn it, but
that's why.
I mean, I guess, but have they just learned from when they were ranking the Jets as playoff teams when they had Aaron Rodgers back in 2023 and 2024? I mean, and now you guys are getting a different treatment. I don't get it.
I mean, I haven't seen a lot of those in a while, but I'd be interested to see what Washington is compared to us.
Mm-hmm.
Because not that we're in the same boat, but we both have young quarterbacks that are exciting, but still have questions about them. And we're both, the roster is, you look at it on paper, you go, all right, see what happens. But that's kind of it. That's your reaction.
I do also think too that people are going to have a similar reaction to my own about the skill position group, which again I don't think is bad per se. I just think like I feel like you're just missing that one other dog. You know what I mean? That a
Yeah,
showstopper in a way.
I
And who
agree.
knows?
But
Let's maybe
I think
maybe Darnell can be that guy too. Maybe
I'm
I'm
not
being a
expect.
little bit.
I'm telling you, I expect it to come out of Malachi. See how quick he takes to it, or Calvin Austin at the receiver position. I think Isaiah is going to
Really?
get a shit ton of work.
Yeah.
But at the receiver position for the two spot, I expect it to come out of Calvin or Malachi. Not that I think Darnell is going into camp, was the most talented and probably most productive receiver, obviously. Calvin's done a little bit in Pittsburgh. He has had a short career at this point, and Malachi's a rookie. And Darnell's been in the league for a little bit. He's been a couple places already. But I think that's the only reason he was at the leader of the clubhouse in a sense. But I really do believe more in Calvin and Malachi to take over that two spot.
I'm very hopeful for Malachi. I hope he turns out to be really good. Because I think that would just be a fun story, especially because he kind of blew up all of a sudden during the draft process, then had a kind of shitty senior game. People kind of wrote him off. Um, Now it seems like he's clawing his way back up to like, hey, this could be a real guy because it seems like he's having a great training camp so far. I don't know how OTAs went or rookie minicamp, but um, as a Notre Dame fan, I'd love to see him do good.
Oh yeah. Look, I told you, and there's a video up there to prove it. I am the most excited for Malachi as our rookie class to watch.
Wow. Okay, so like kind of how I feel about Kenyon Sadiq, that's who your guy would be.
I don't think in 10 years I'll look back and say he's going to be the best player from our draft class, but I am
No,
the
no,
most.
no. That is that what I was saying? I guess, right? Yeah.
I'm the most
But
excited to see what he becomes. I,
okay, that's kind of what I'm saying then. Yeah.
I think he has. I mean, really, Arvell does, but not that he's a ball of clay. But like, if he can hit in that Alex Pierce jump ball role, which is probably the best jump guy in the league at the moment, which in itself again is a very like up and down year to year way to play.
Hmm.
But if he can do that at the above average range, and then also become round out his route tree, become a guy that you can throw to over the middle and a deep in, or maybe hit him on a post or a corner to move the chains. Like if he can turn into a more of an all around receiver and maintain that above average jump ball play, he's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah.
He's
No,
huge.
especially
He's
again,
massive.
especially because again, he does not have to be your number one. This would be
No.
such a different conversation if, the Giants had, let's say it's Malik, but it's older, right? Like we're talking 5 years, 6 years down the road. But it's just not that situation. Like
No.
you have your one, and
Yeah.
he can come in and not feel pressure to perform right away. Like it's a good situation for him. It's a good situation for the Giants as to who he can become.
Yeah.
I also think I saw his NFL comp was Plaxico Burress. So that would be pretty sick.
That'd be really
It's pretty
sick.
good.
And the
That'd
thing
be pretty
is,
good.
not to make this I think I don't think it's surprising that the Giants conversation has become a little bit of a Malachi conversation,
Mhm.
but the Giants with Malachi on the team, and you could argue Isaiah Hodgins maybe, but he's not really that guy. He's just like a big body who you can hit some strikes to and is a solid player. Do you expect more from a career baseline for Malachi since he was a third round pick? But anyways, with Malachi on the team, the Giants have this full arsenal on paper of body types and
100%.
skills at the receiver position where I feel
Very
as a
much so.
fan that they've been lacking that the past couple years.
Right. That's very similar. Not to change the topic, but that's very similar to how I feel about the Jets. Like we were just talking about this before. Like you have Garrett who can do everything. You have AD who can stretch the field. Kenyon is a mismatch, and then Omar Cooper can kind of be whoever he wants to be,
Oh yeah.
and at any given play. Same thing for the Giants. I think, and it's funny too because we've talked about this for a handful, a couple of years now. But this is why it's so fun having this account with you during this time because I feel like we're seeing our teams grow for different reasons,
Yeah.
but in a similar way.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I
I think
mean?
so. I mean, dude, think about it. When we started this, the first draft we watched. I mean, we only been doing this for like about a year or two, but like, so it's really not that
Hmm.
crazy to say this. But like, the first draft we watched was we couldn't even co-host,
Right,
and I was
right.
a guest on yours, and we watched Abdul Carter, Jackson Dart, Mason Graham, Armand Membu. Like that was that draft, and that was like the
Yeah.
beginning of this transition to okay, now the Giants have a guy at quarterback maybe, and they're exciting, and the Jets are adding all these young pieces to build a good environment for their quarterback, and we both have new head coaches now, and like
Hmm.
it's exciting. It's interesting. I
Yeah.
can't wait to kind of see what this and let's say in 2 more years, what do our teams look like? Are we actually playoff contenders, like we're saying right now, or we
Buddy, we're
should be in
winning the
2
Super
years?
Bowl. I'm winning. I know my team's at least winning the Super Bowl. I don't
Hey,
know about yours. I know.
hey, you love the team.
I know my team is 100% winning the Super Bowl.
Earlier it was
Uh,
love the player, hate the team. Now it's we
I
love the
don't
team.
know. I don't know if it's Arch Manning or if it's CJ Carr, but we're winning the Super Bowl in 2028
Man,
for
what would
sure.
how great would that be for you if CJ Carr was your franchise quarterback going
I would
forward?
absolutely love it. He honestly, he's getting an ungodly amount of hype this offseason, and I'm just excited for him to show why. I mean, look, he was great his rookie or his freshman year, but um, they Notre Dame doesn't really play anybody. Like they're not really playing anybody this year too. I will say the couple of tough games that they had on their schedule, even week one Miami at Miami, and he kind of like held his own a little bit, for his first live game in college football.
Yeah.
I'll take it, man. So we'll see.
I'm excited. I'm excited to follow that. I'm excited to follow the college is exciting, and this is like just a footnote in this conversation at this point. But college is exciting, but I really love following it for the draft.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you just get an idea, especially this year too. Like anytime that you have a draft that has as much quarterback talent as this one is supposed to have, it's even more exciting to follow, especially with like storylines like Dante
Yeah,
Moore, Lenora Sellers, like guys that could have came out in a draft class that was very weak and now they didn't. Why? Trinidad Chambliss, there's a lot of people that have him ranked in the top five college quarterbacks now. Meanwhile, like who knew who he was last year? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, so yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun watch. We might have to link up for college games too, dude.
dude. If you want, I'm willing and able.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, Dante Moore, this is what I'm gonna leave you with before we head off for the night. Dante Moore said that he did not declare for the NFL draft because of the Jets. Who knows if that's true? I kind of don't want him anyways because it seems like he folds in big games, but it's kind of just nice to hear, I guess.
You weren't just rejected.
Yeah.
I mean, Trinidad definitely dubbed you guys.
I don't know if he dubbed us. I think he just dubbed. No, he is just so petrified to play in the NFL. I don't think it's the Jets. I think that dude is scared shitless. He wants no part of grown men.
He's just a baby.
Yeah, bro. He's like 6 feet, 200 pounds. He's Brock Purdy, except Brock Purdy has a
Kyler
set of
Murray.
gonads on him. Yeah.
Um, dude, great show. I think we really
This
covered
is
a
this
lot.
is going.
This is kind of the structure I want going forward for the rest of the
Hmm.
divisions. If you're cool with that, I mean, I think. Oh, before we go, we have to do the Jets and we have to do the Pats and the Bills real quick.
Oh, that's right. Go through it, and then I got to go to sleep because I'm exhausted.
That's all right. I get it. Will Campbell, I'm gonna give him a check.
Pass. Oh, okay. Yeah. Are you serious,
Yes,
bro? You're nuts. Pass.
he's a solid O lineman at this point.
Pass, bro.
I'm
That
giving
guy's
him a
got
check.
arms like a
Screw
nah,
you,
bro.
Vera Tucker, check.
Pass.
You're just burned.
Nah, bro. Guy's barely on the field,
You
dude. I
guys
don't
made
want
of
him to
glass.
like
Is that what you're saying?
made of glass, dude.
Jared Wilson, pass.
About time.
From
Finally telling the
from what
truth.
we've seen of him. Mike Owenu, I'm gonna give him a pass. All right, I'm
I
gonna
don't even
give
know
him a
who that
check.
is. All right.
And then Morgan Moses.
Check, but like old.
Yeah, same. I agree with that. So for me, 4 out of 5. For you, 2 out of 5.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right, Bills O line.
Bills O line.
Spencer Brown, Check.
Check.
Osiris Torrance. Check.
Pass.
Fine.
I don't know who that is.
Fine. He's all right. Connor McGovern, I'll give a check too.
Yeah, I like him.
Alec Anderson, I mean, this could just be me not knowing enough, but I'm going to give him a pass.
Okay.
And then Deion Dawkins, check, obviously.
Pass. Guys, I hate him so much.
I know you hate him.
He's the worst,
bad,
bro.
Too.
Yeah.
I understand, he's an O-lineman, but, he's built really bad.
Bro, actually, so I gotta find it because I can't explain it, but somebody used him with the Nickel City uniform on as a meme and bro, I was crying. I gotta find it for you. Anyways, all right, man. I'm ready to go to sleep. I'm exhausted.
We'll sign out here.
Yeah, for anybody who's still on, thanks for watching. Thanks for your patience, by the way, as well. JJ mentioned it before, but we weren't active for some time. We are so excited to be more consistently active with the season coming up. Got a couple of fun things on the horizon for everyone, like more lives like this. We're looking into a multi-streaming platform, possibly a fantasy football thing that's going on. I think JJ said that we have lined up. There's a bunch of things that we're going to be doing to elevate the value we are displaying for you guys as followers, as fans, as viewers. So if you haven't done so already, we highly suggest that you follow if you like NFL content. We're just happy to be back with you guys.
Yeah. Sorry for the comments where we didn't get to in the second half of this after our NFC discussion. There's going to be shows. It's kind of going to be similar to that on some shows that we do, maybe previews and reviews of certain weeks. Maybe we get some feedback from you guys there, but not that we don't appreciate all the love and interest we get, but there's a flow to our conversation we want to keep sometimes. And there's going to be shows where we do include you guys a lot, fantasy advice, fantasy questions, fantasy debates, all that good stuff. And then some other stuff, on certain games, certain moments during the week throughout the season. But don't be offended if we don't ever get to your comments. We love and appreciate you guys. It's just that there's sometimes we want to be very succinct and have a flow to what we're saying, and not that we don't want to be on it forever, but we can't. Unfortunately, we're not that big yet. But if you like and follow, maybe we can be, and then we'll chat all day long. And then Sammy, you got to rub this in your face, but Birdie is back with the hate. He says delusional and sleepy Sammy at it again.
That's right. Perfect way to end it. Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys. Thank you so much.
See ya.